Welcome, welcome, welcome everybody. How many of you guys are actually interested in my title here? How to make money with auto body and paint. You guys curious on how you can make money off some friends and family by doing small side jobs? I know a lot of you guys are just getting started, but I was at a point where I was just getting started as well. And I would charge and do jobs and make money, right? And you make money and you get to practice on other people's cars. And if you screw up, right, you got to do the section over again, or you got to do the job over again. It's part of learning, right? You can't expect to learn and grow without screwing up. So screwing up is part of the process. It's normal, okay? Everybody screws up. If you don't screw up, you're not trying hard enough, right? You're not putting enough work in, okay? So the baseline for all of this is when you're first starting out, you can't charge that much, right? Because you don't have a portfolio, you don't have much experience, you're just getting started, right? So you can't say, oh yeah, I did the car in the car show last month. You don't have that credibility to say that, right? So you can't charge as much. But as you do more jobs and say you have, 15 paint jobs under your belt, and you go to your 20th customer and you say, yeah, I painted about 20 cars, I know what I'm, it gives you credibility that you know what you're doing. And by then, you basically have more confidence in yourself, right? You guys getting this? You have more confidence and you feel like you can do the job better, which entitles you to more money because you got more experience, you know what you're doing, and you can charge more. So that's how you go from, $500, $1,000 paint jobs where you would probably start to an average of $5,000, $4,000 paint jobs to $7,000. And you can go higher than that. The highest I've done was a $12,000 paint job. I know people who charge $20,000, $25,000. That's when you're doing like a complete a restoration and you're going down to metal, going crazy for show cars. But that's the deal. Okay, so when first starting out, we're just gonna go over this for the next 5-7 minutes, and I'll answer your questions. When you're first doing your job. Let's start with a complete paint job. So we have a complete paint job in back and we have a Miata, right? And if we were doing that for a customer and you're getting started, right? Maybe you painted 2 of your own cars. The first thing you want to think of is what kind of quality does this person want? Does he want high quality or low quality? Does he want expensive or cheap paints? Okay, so when doing a full complete, this is a little car, right? And say you had a friend that just said, hey, man, I just want to put a paint job on it. I don't want to go crazy. I don't care if you don't have to do it with base coat, clear coat, the expensive paint. You could just do it, one sec. And you're going to do an enamel. So you have single stage enamel, which is single stage. So it's basically, you mix up the paint, you got your paint in a gallon, and then you got your hardener, right? It's single stage mixing, where there's no clear coat, it's shiny, right? So as soon as you lay it on, you wait 15 minutes and you put another, it's usually 2 to 3 heavy coats, right? Medium to heavy coats, right? It's an easy paint job. Your preparation doesn't have to be that crazy. You could finish sanding with about 320, 280 to 320, and you're ready to blast. You don't have to get too crazy with primering the whole car. You could, it's a very, very thick paint. So when doing a complete paint job, you want to consider the type of paint, right? Base coat, clear coat, which is expensive. Single stage, which is cheap paint, okay? Like Mako paint, cheap paint. Mako does offer base coat, clear coat too, by the way. But and you also want to think of size of car, okay? So if you have a small little 2-door like this, okay, you got one price. And then if you got a 4-door, you got another price. And if you got a big truck, you got another price. You want to add a couple of $100 here or there for the size. Paint material, for the cheap stuff, you can get a full kit for about $100 to $150 for all the paint, okay? Which is pretty good paint though. It's cheap stuff, but it's good paint. It's probably better quality. Bad connection, I see that. different thing when you do live streaming. Yeah, I see it on my side. When you do live streaming, you could pick with the quality of the video, and next time I'm going to pick a lower quality. This is only a 480p. Yeah, it is the audio, not the audio, but the internet. Okay, so anyway, when first starting out, you guys hear me now? Hopefully this is okay. Okay, great. When first doing the paint job, you want to charge about, I would say, if you're doing enamel, $1,000 is pretty good. 1,200. Okay. I used to charge around 1,500 for enamel paint jobs. I don't do them anymore for customers, right? But when I was 10 years ago, I used to charge about 1,500 to do an enamel paint job. Okay, I used to charge 2,500 and up to do base coat, clear coat, because your material cost is going to go up. You got a little more extra labor. Okay, so basically, you know, say you charged $1,000 to 1,500, all right, for your single stage paint job. It's going to cost you about 150. Maybe let's wrap in an extra $50 for masking tape and paper, right? You need some masking tape. So say it costs you 200. Right now, you could do this in your garage. If you live in a farm, rural area, you could do it in a barn outside, in a garage under a tent. If you rent a spray booth, is what you could also do. It's probably going to cost you $75 to $150, depending on where you go to rent your spray booth. Because you could go rent spray booths at your local auto body shop area. Just go into the industrial zone and go to every body shop down there and say, hey, can I rent your spray booth this weekend? They will rent it out, all right? When my father had his huge shop going, we used to rent out our spray booth, and that used to pay for our rent at the shop, renting the spray booth out. We had one big guy across the street. All he did was he used to paint trucks. He didn't have a spray booth. He used to pay us like $2,500 a month just to use his booth, and he would like paint like 5 cars a week. And we would rent it out on weekends. A guy would come in and do a show car. You can make a lot of money. That's like another business topic that I could get into on a next YouTube stream about how to basically have a spray booth and rent it out. So that's a huge thing. And if you're doing base coat, clear coat, you could probably charge around $1,500 to $2,500 when you're first starting out. Okay, that's a really good price. Okay, so you take all of your experience, okay, whatever you're learning on, and you could start small. You could start with a fender, right? How much does it cost to paint a fender on a car? You could charge somebody anywhere from, and that's where I would start if I were you. You know, start doing little damages. Start painting someone's bumper repair. Start painting a fender, maybe somebody's hood. All right, because material is going to cost you, once you buy a gallon, and you always want to buy a gallon kit of clear because you're not going to use the whole thing on one job. That can be like four to five touch-up jobs. All right, one whole kit gallon. So you buy it the first time around, it's going to cost you maybe $150 for some good clear, or even $100. You can get good clears for about $100, right? And that'll last you 5 jobs. All you got to do is buy maybe a pint of base coat or whatever color you're doing on the job. And you could basically just do the guy's fender or his bumper and charge him $350 easy to repair a dent or to paint a panel. $350. So if it costs you $100, you make $200, $250 in a few hours, because it really doesn't take long to prep and paint one single panel. Like, you could have a dent in a fender, take it out, body work it, get it ready for paint, and realistically 2 to 3 hours, right? It'll take you 30 minutes to paint it. So when basically 5 hours you could knock out someone's bumper, someone's fender, or 2 to 250. I mean, not bad. If you're doing a hood, you could charge $500 to do a hood. All right, but that's doing a good job. And you may have to basically do some color sanding and buffing. How many of you guys like this content? How many of you guys would like a little bit more in-depth, like a cheat sheet, infographic on the whole steps of this and how? I don't know. You guys tell me if you guys like this topic. But basically that's it. And the more and more you keep doing, the more you can start charging. Yes, cheat sheet. Okay, great. How many of you guys on here, I just want to get a quick count. I like to interact. How many of you guys on here, this is your first time on my live YouTube? How many people? Just put first time. Just type first time in. I just want to see. I just need to know, like, what's going on. First time. A lot of firsts. Cool. Awesome. 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 So you guys enjoying the content. All right. So I don't know if you want to learn more on this. I'm going to open it up to Q&A now. We're on about 15 minutes. I'm going to open up to Q&A. We could talk more about what I just talked about. The title of this, Make Money with Auto Body, estimating tips. I gave you information on paint cost, okay? Base coat, clear coat, single stage enamel, paint cost, the difference in paints. And I gave you information on how to do an overall estimate. You got 2 doors, you got your 4-door, and then you got your trucks and vans. So you want to charge a little bit more because it's going to take you a little bit more time to doing that. But overall, once you have, I would say, 3 full complete paint jobs under your belt, by then you pretty much got the hang of it, okay? And I would charge probably $2,000 for a single stage and $2,500 to $3,000 for base coat, clear coat as a starting point. If the guy wants you to get down and dirty and color sand and buff it after that, I'll charge extra. But sometimes people are like, just paint it. Sometimes people are like, paint it, but I want a showroom finish. And to get the showroom finish, you basically need to sand the car down with 2000 grit, 2500 grit, and buff it out. And that's a 1 to 2 day job max. Well, to do it right, it's going to take you about 2 days, okay? Because one day you're probably going to be sanding. Next day you're going to be buffing your ass out for about 8 hours, right? Car, nice. All right, went offline, and we are back. I actually stopped talking, so we didn't miss any content. Hope it comes back on with no problems. Okay. What would you charge for a motorcycle Badger type? Well, motorcycles are just as tedious, but I would say for a nice paint job on a motorcycle, at least $1,000. And you could always, when you're giving out prices, you could always say this much plus material. So you could make money on the material. So you could say, I'm going to charge you $1,000. You pay for material. All right, so you go get the material, maybe you pay 200 and you say it was 300 material, okay? We could get into the details of how to get the money from the people, right? I usually give me half down, half when you pick up the car, cash or certified check, but the check has to be, you gotta be able to cash the check. I got screwed one time, right? Somebody gave me a bad check one time, no more. All right, please hit like. I will see you later. Here's my office view really quickly. Here's the little YSR 50 that we completed not too long ago. There's my little Polini motorcycle bike up there. I will see you on next week from Japan. Have a great night. Thank you for getting on. And I will see you on next week.